Have you ever had a very small problem that you completely ignored at first? Maybe you thought it was nothing serious and pushed it aside, but then, suddenly, inside your head, that small problem turned into a giant, scary monster. We all do this time to time in our daily lives. We get scared of things we cannot even see or touch. We let fear control our decisions and our actions. We run away, hoping that if we run fast enough, the problem will just disappear on its own. But let me ask you a simple question. Does running away ever actually fix anything for you? Usually, avoiding the issue just makes things much, much worse in the long run. Today, I'm going to tell you a fascinating story about a little mouse. This story involves a dark, scary cave and a secret that shocked an entire jungle. It is a story that perfectly explains why avoiding problems never solves them. And if you listen closely to the end, you might just find the answer to your own fears in this tale. Once upon a time, deep inside a thick, lush green forest, there lived a small, gentle mouse. Now, this was not just any ordinary mouse you see every day. He was known throughout the forest for having a very kind and gentle heart. He was the type of neighbor who would always stop to help others in need. If a bird dropped a feather, he would return it. If a squirrel dropped a nut, he would not steal it, he would give it back. Because of his kind nature, all the animals loved him. From the tiny ants to the heavy rhinos, everyone liked the little mouse very much. One bright morning, the mouse woke up feeling extremely hungry. His little stomach was rumbling loudly for some food. He hopped out of his warm, cozy home to look for some breakfast. Usually, he only found dry leaves or tough grass roots to eat. Let's be honest, eating dry leaves gets pretty boring day after day. But today was going to be his lucky day. While he was scurrying near a riverbank, he spotted something wonderful. It was poking out of the soft dirt near the water. He dug it up and could not believe his luck. It was a huge, fresh, sweet potato. It was the best piece of food he had seen in months. He was so excited that his whiskers twitched with pure joy. He did not want to eat it out in the open. If he ate it there, other animals might ask him to share his treasure. He wanted to savor every single bite of this feast all by himself. So he decided to run back to his cave to enjoy his breakfast in peace. He was running so fast, lost in his happy thoughts of food, he was imagining how good the potato would taste. Because he wasn't looking where he was going, he tripped over a stone. He tumbled forward and almost slipped right into the rushing river. He barely caught himself on a tree root just in time. He pulled himself up, panting and shaking from the fall. But sadly, as he looked down, he saw his beautiful sweet potato. It had slipped from his paws. He watched helplessly as it washed away down a waterfall. Poor little mouse. He was absolutely heartbroken. He had lost his prize. He was now tired, hungry, and very sad. With his head hanging low, he walked back to his cave just wanting to sleep. But when he finally got to the entrance of his home, he stopped. He noticed something very strange. The air felt different. It felt heavy and cold. He looked at the ground and saw footprints he did not recognize. He stood at the entrance, his little heart beating fast. He called out into the darkness, "Hello? Is anyone inside my house?" He waited, expecting silence. He expected to just hear the wind blowing. Instead, a booming, terrifying voice echoed from the darkness. "I am the one who crushes the bones of rhinos. I am the one who stomps elephants into dust. Step back, or you are next." The mouse froze in absolute terror. His heart started pounding in his chest like a drum. He was just a small, fluffy creature. How could he possibly fight a monster that eats rhinos?
He was shaking so much he couldn't even speak. He scrambled backward and ran into the bushes to hide. He was shivering with fear. Just then, a wolf walked by. The wolf looked strong and confident. He saw the mouse shaking in the bushes and asked what was wrong. The mouse explained with a trembling voice, "Oh, Mr. Wolf, there is a monster in thy home. It says it crushes rhinos and turns elephants to dust." The wolf laughed loudly. "A monster? Here?" The wolf was proud and strong. He puffed out his chest and said, "Don't worry, little friend. I am the hunter here. I will get rid of this pest for you." The wolf marched up to the cave looking very scary. He growled loudly into the darkness. "Who is in there? Come out and face me." But the voice boomed back louder than before. "I am the giant who breaks elephants. Leave now, or I will crush you." The wolf's ears went flat against his head. He had never heard a voice that loud or that scary. He thought to himself, "If this thing can break an elephant, what will it do to me?" Fear took over his body. With his tail tucked between his legs, the wolf turned around. He ran away as fast as he could without looking back. Next came the tiger. The tiger is the king of the jungle, right? He walked silently, his orange stripes glowing in the sun. He saw the scared mouse and the dust where the wolf had run away. When he heard the story, he smirked. "I am a tiger," he said calmly. "I fear nothing in this forest." He approached the cave and let out a mighty, deafening roar. Roar! The ground shook. But the voice inside didn't care at all. It shouted back even louder. "I am the destroyer of beasts. Do you want to be turned to dust?" The tiger stopped mid-step. The echo from the cave made the voice sound 10 times bigger than the tiger's roar. Even the tiger, with all his sharp claws and teeth, felt a cold chill of fear. He thought, "This is not a fight I can win. Whatever is in there is ancient and powerful." And just like the wolf, the tiger quietly slipped away into the trees. Soon, a huge rhino came stomping by. And then even a massive elephant arrived. The mouse had a little bit of hope now. Surely the elephant, the biggest animal in the forest, could help. The elephant stomped up to the cave, ready to charge. He raised his trunk and trumpeted, but the voice screamed back instantly, "I stomp on elephants for fun." The elephant paused. His big eyes went wide with panic. He was big, but he wasn't looking to fight a monster that specifically hunted elephants. Panic took over, and the giant animal retreated, crashing through the trees. Now all the animals were gathered at a safe distance. The wolf, the tiger, the rhino, and the elephant. They were all hiding behind bushes, terrified of the secret inside the cave. They whispered to each other, wondering what kind of beast it was. That's when a tiny little frog hopped by. He saw the gathering of mighty animals and looked confused. He asked, "What is happening? Why are you all hiding?" The mouse cried out, "A monster is in my cave. It scared away the tiger and the elephant. We're doomed." The frog looked at the dark cave. Then he looked at the big animals shaking in fear. He smiled a little and said, "I'll go talk to him." The other animals laughed nervously. "You?" sneered the wolf. "You are the size of my paw. If the tiger ran away, what can you do?" But the frog didn't listen to their doubt. He hopped right up to the entrance. He didn't roar, he didn't threaten, he just shouted in his croaky little voice, "I am the frog. I am the friend of the water and the land. Who are you?" The voice boomed back immediately, "I crush rhinos." The frog didn't run. He hopped closer. He realized something the others didn't. The voice was loud, yes, but it sounded hollow. It sounded like a trick. The frog shouted again, brave and loud.
"Well, I have come to challenge you. Come out and face me." Suddenly, there was silence. The monster didn't expect anyone to challenge it. The frog hopped right into the darkness of the cave. The other animals covered their eyes. They expected the frog to be eaten in one bite. A moment later, the frog hopped out, and dragging behind him was a tiny green caterpillar. The animals gasped in shock. "This is your monster?" the frog laughed. You see, the caterpillar had crawled into the empty cave to rest. When it spoke, the shape of the cave created a massive echo. It made his tiny, squeaky voice sound like a booming thunderclap. The caterpillar wasn't evil. He wasn't trying to scare anyone. He was just answering the door. The tiger, the wolf, and the elephant looked at each other. They felt so silly. They had run away from a bug. They had let their fear create a monster that didn't exist. They all burst out laughing at their own foolishness. Friends, this story teaches us 3 very important lessons. The mouse and his friends were paralyzed by a voice. They didn't see a monster. They only heard fear. First, small problems can look huge if we ignore them. If someone had just looked inside immediately, the fear wouldn't have grown. Second, fear is often an illusion. The things we worry about in our heads are usually like that caterpillar. They're tiny in reality, but they sound loud in our minds because of the echo of our anxiety. And finally, you need courage to find the truth. The frog wasn't the strongest animal there, but he was the only one brave enough to face the unknown instead of running from it. So the next time you face a problem that feels like a giant monster, don't run. Take a deep breath, step forward, and look it right in the eye. You might just find out it's only a caterpillar. If this story gave you a little bit of courage today, please hit that like button. It really helps this message spread to people who need it. And if you want to keep improving your mindset and hear more stories like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel. My channel name is Pure Growth. We are building a community of brave people here, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.